Hello, everyone. Yesterday, I had a conversation with one of my online friends, and it really reminded me of how much I enjoy the creative process of filming live videos and sharing the process of the work that I love so much, which is building solutions inside of Notion, inside of Tana. And I really want to get back to this spark of creativity that I had at the beginning with sharing these videos. I'm feeling it coming back now, especially after that conversation that I had with my friend. So I'm going to try to film. This is an experimentation. I don't usually film myself building live, but I somehow things aligned, and I think that's how I know when I'm supposed to do something. So, for example, in this case, I now have a whole different video setup that really just came together this morning. And to me, that's a sign that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or at least this is the path that I'm supposed to be experimenting on right now. So I'm going to be filming myself building out the system that you see here. The camera is on my left, but this is something new, a new kind of angle. It feels strange to be seeing this side of my face, but I'm going to put the camera on this side of the screen. You won't be able to see the camera. You would just be able to see these windows here, but I'm just going to film myself as I continue to build out this system that I started last week. It is something that I've been thinking about. It's something that I'm enjoying building so much. And that is why I figured, why not film myself building it live? And yeah, that whole thing. So enough of me talking. Let me just make sure that my volume is good. So I'll just explain a bit, hopefully briefly, what I'm currently building. So this Lean Team OS. It is a Notion operating system that is supposed to streamline the hiring process. So I have noticed with a lot of online businesses, and especially with online solo business owners who have what I refer to as a lean team. This means that it's the business owner or the solo entrepreneur, and they outsource a lot of work to freelancers and freelance specialists, whether that is a graphic designer, a copywriter, a Notion consultant. A lot of work for their business is outsourced to these freelance specialists, and it's something that Justin Welsh spoke about in one of his newsletters, and I actually saved it because it was so helpful. I was able to see an entire system just based on reading his blog post or that newsletter. So Lean Team OS is a system that I am building for Notion that is going to have everything that a solo business owner would need to manage freelance specialists, whether that's the communications with them, their processes, as well as the hiring process. So I'm really starting looking at this system, and I can pull up my kind of process map here. Let me just try to resize this window so you can see properly. Right, so this is the process map that I created before I started building the system inside of Notion. And it really starts with right here. So as a solo business owner, you might come to the point, or you will likely come to the point. There are, of course, many solo business owners who are able to work fully by themselves, and that is a beautiful way to work. But for those who really realize that they want to outsource a lot of things that they are not specialists in, those are the people that this system is for. So it usually starts with the need for this system usually begins with this thought. We need to hire someone, whether that is a virtual assistant, whether that is a graphic designer, copywriter, as I said earlier. But it starts with, okay, we need help. A team of one is only sustainable, as I said, for certain business models. And many people find out that they save so much more time by outsourcing work that they're not specialists in. So it starts here. We need to hire a VA, for example. And then this is the kind of process step by step that I'm trying to streamline inside using Notion. I actually started out this process inside of my note here. This is inside of Tana. I love to brainstorm and have a look at the entire system using either an outliner note-taking app like Tana or a process map, and this is inside of Whimsical. So these two tools in conjunction, in combination together, they help me to have this broad overview of what I am going to then build inside of Notion in this case. So yes. All right. So that, I feel like that is everything that I would need to say about why I'm building this and who it's for. This is my system outline inside of Tana, and I should share what I have done so far. So on the Notion side of things, the actual building of the system, I have my backend page, of course, with reference to my master databases video that I made recently. But this is my backend page for this system. It's where I have all of my master databases, and everything is being built out, really structuring from this page. And then I have the actual system home page, you can say, and I have my dashboards here as well. The capacity assessment, this is actually a free template that I currently have for solo business owners to be able to figure out what they need to delegate. So you can have the different tasks. You can write your SOPs in here as well. This is kind of like step one. If I look over here at my process overview, step one is assessment. Step two is really the creation of these SOPs and documents based on the role that you are hiring for. And step three would be to build your team, which is really where the hiring pipeline comes into play. So I have my master databases here. I have this hiring process dashboard, which is really supposed to be for either the solo business owner or the digital business manager, whoever is doing the hiring. This is kind of supposed to be their place to come and see what they need, where they are in the process. So this first database shows the hiring process, and from not started all the way to onboarded and hired. I have this being an example of how the system the hiring process specifically works with tasks and all of the information and instructions that will be needed to execute the tasks. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself right now. I'm just really trying to show you guys what I have built so far and where I currently am. So Yeah. Right now, I am going to the place that I ended last time. I feel like the hiring process that I did was pretty much well done. If you look inside of my Tana outline, I did the process map, and then I had to do templates for each step of the hiring process. And I do have templates for each step of the hiring process. It's actually within the task database for this system. So I have here, this is the task database. And if I go to the all view, you'll see all of the tasks. But most importantly, I have all of the templates for each stage of the process listed here. So I did all of these templates for each step of the process. So that part is pretty much done. So where I was really was working on the freelancers' dashboards. So how is the CEO or the boss or the solopreneur that is hiring, how are they going to manage the work of the freelancers that they have onboarded onto their team? And that is what I was working on when I last stopped. This is an example VA dashboard, and I have tasks as well as SOPs and documents that are filtered for the role of virtual assistant and any general documents for the team. So I think I'm done explaining now. That was about 13 minutes of me rambling. I'm going to actually get on with building from now. So here we go. I'll just put my mic up a bit. All right, where was I? Okay, so let's look at it from the perspective. I need this bit here. Okay. Hiring, I did freelance management. Freelancer dashboard, okay. This is filtered to me, so I want to make sure that each of these may add a sample task. What do I need to see here? Bam, 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 bam. Where is my due? Oh, that's already shown, but I don't have one. Is it already shown? Oh, I need to change this. I just need a regular due date. This is based on the last system. Ugh. Okay, so I'm gonna need to go to my back end. What is it? Oh. I need to go to my back end and add these. Okay. I need to fix this. I'm going to return this to just tasks instead of hiring tasks. And I don't think will they need a time tracking? Gosh. Time tracking is something that I had in my other database. Is that going to be useful? Is that going to be useful? Okay. I should have the option to do it, but it's certainly not a... Okay, so that's start time. What I need is a due date that is actually... This is a formula. What I need is a due date that is not a formula. That is a date. Yeah. Okay, so just to explain what I just did, this is a task. This is one of my base template task databases. So it has time tracking built in to the task database. That's why you see these start buttons and these end buttons. And so if I press the start button for that particular task, you will see, this was it here, that it has a timestamp, as well as the status has changed to in progress. That is it is related to this. So this due date was related to, this is a formula that really just formats this start time into a date format. And what I need right now is, because this is not, I want to have a system that is going to allow for time tracking if the person wants to track time inside of Notion, but I also want to have just the basic manually you enter your due date, the date that you're going to do the task. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties are related to the time tracking aspect of the system. So for example, if I go ahead and I click end here, it has changed the task to done. I now have the end date, and these are actually also related to this duration. So it was 1 minute and this hours. So these properties here are all time tracking related. In case you're wondering why this task database has so many properties for just a simple task database. But what I want is just to be able to see the system where it's, if you want to manually just add the date that you're going to do the task, I think that's what most people are familiar with. So I want to have that baseline set up. And I did not have this property here. I just had this formula property here. I want to change this icon just because it is a bit conflicting. Okay, so when it comes to priority properties in a task database, I personally have no use for them because I prioritize everything based on the date that I'm going to be doing that particular task. But I know that other people, for the way that they work, a priority system can be helpful, especially if you have a huge amount of tasks that is going towards one particular person. But even that in itself, like, fundamentally, in terms of productivity, is not efficient if you're prioritizing, because then instead of doing the task, you end up just prioritizing. Like, prioritizing becomes its own task that you have to do, you know, on your task list. So I think that fundamentally it's obstructive to a proper workflow. It's obstructive to productivity, but that is just my personal experience. Maybe as I use the system with clients and with people who purchase the template, that I will be able to kind of understand how if it's useful for them. But that's just why I have the priority. Why I have the priority property here. The project is important. I'm just trying to group my properties so that I am not confused. This can go here. This is essential. Create a time. I have my hiring. So this is the hiring project. And then I have task ID, role. All right, so this is pretty good now. All right, so the main properties that I'm working with currently are these here. Essential, essential, maybe, and I have these. Okay, so I came across here because I was over here and I realized I did not have a due date that was visible. Well, I didn't have the correct due date visible, so I don't want to see this. I want them to be able to add the due date, right? So test, task, add the due date. Let's say this is going to be done today. Okay, so now I need to think about who's adding this task. Let me look at it first from the CEO, the solopreneur point of view. So this is the dashboard. And I kind of think through things out loud by just talking to myself. I mean, I feel like that's something that everybody does. It can be a short trip to... Anyways, okay. Okay, so I am going to be... These are the tasks that... Actually, this is a filtered view, you know. This is really... I can't look at this from the point of view of... where is the boss going to be... where is the boss going to be assigning these tasks? SAP is not active freelancers. What I need is a task. I feel like I need a task database here because that's probably going to be the best way. If they do it from here, they will be able to see pretty much all of the tasks that they have and to who it's going towards. Maybe they also have a curated dashboard. What is this? This is that. Okay. Yeah. Do you want them to do this from here? Yeah. yeah, you want to be able to assign tasks here as well. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to put this as all tasks. All tasks for this particular freelancer. But then my task, the person filters it to the particular. I don't think I need to do that. I think I should filter by person, not, okay. I think instead of filtering by assignee is me, because assignee is me, what that does is based on the account that you assigned in on, it's going to only show up those specific tasks or those specific database entries. But if I do assignee to be this particular freelancer, then it's not going to be able to, I'm going to be able to see it like both the boss and the freelancer is going to be able to see the tasks. Yeah, so I don't want this. That's going to be kind of hard. I don't want this. And I do need a filter. But okay, so for now, I'm going to leave it as me for now. But this is, I don't need this all tasks. I just need this to be tasks and it will filter. So, but this can only be changed when the person is onboarded. Like this should be filtered to the specific person. I'm just going to put a call out here, really, for me to remember. Okay, change filter on task view to freelancer during onboarding. Change filter on task view, change assignee. Okay, that's just so I remember that that's going to be done like that. Because I still think that this is the easiest way to, assign tasks in a Kanban as opposed to a table view. Now, yeah, and for both the solopreneur and the freelancer to be able to see the tasks that they are doing. So I think that is actually good. When this is duplicated, yeah, okay, so tasks, and you have SOPs here underneath the tasks. I really like to have the instructions for the task be inside of the task. And I want to have a template where instructions can be applied. So for what I'm referring to is, for example, if I were to add a task, not this way. If I were to add a task that is write job brief, you'll see that it comes up with this task instructions call out and an example. I think that is so important for when you have hired someone, especially a freelancer, that they have the instructions on what they need to do, as well as an example of how you want it done. Because poor communication is just stress and headaches. So I made a template of this. Where is that? Where is that? That's in my, oh, that's right here. This is why I love having filtered SOPs and docs linked on the same page as your tasks. Because, oh, this is actually not it. It's in general. It's this task SOP template. So this is empty, as you can see. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to add it to my, I'm going to create a temp. Should I do this in my empty, my default? Yes, I do want this. I can't edit this. I swear I used to be able to edit this. Okay, Notion has recently changed this. View this template. I used to be able to edit this. All right, let me add a new template. I don't want it to have a name because that just makes creates friction when you are creating a new task in specific views. So, but I want this to be the default template. Why have this here but not be able to edit it? Oh. I don't know why I have that here. Anyways, I want this to be default. Okay, so now when I add a new task, I can give it a name. So transfer article to Medium, for example. And when I open this up, I can add my task instructions, and I can add that. Now, I don't particularly like things opening up inside a peak. I find that it is a bit distracting. So let's see how that looks, center peak. Yeah, this is like your attention stays centered on the page as opposed to going across to the side. I like side peak for big table view databases, but I feel like the person is more focused in center peak. I need to change this. I need to change this. I need to pin this. Okay. Apply to all pages. All right, I am pretty happy with this. Okay. I have to kind of watch my time as well because I have a call in 45 minutes. I need to eat something. So 15 minutes again here. All right, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I have envisioned it from the perspective of the CEO assigning tasks. And I have also envisioned it from the perspective of the freelancer. But this needs to be in a template. Is this in my master database? Is this a view in my, I have my tasks. Oh. Rename this tasks. I think this is, I haven't changed anything else. In progress, awaiting approval, done. Does this need to be, most people have a desktop. I think this should be small. These should be small cards instead of medium cards. Ugh, but then this looks like this. All right, let's keep it medium. I'm gonna have to get off of my monitor to be able to really see how that looks on a typical laptop to optimize it properly. But anyways, right, so I have this template in my master database. I have the reminder that this needs to be changed in onboarding. I need to have, do I have this SOP template? I have this one, but I don't have this one, which is filtered by the role. I'm going to change this to gallery. I want this. I'm going to change this to gallery. And I'm going to create, is this? Yep, I'm going to create. Actually, I'm going to duplicate this. This would be my, this and this. SOPs and docs. I'm going to need this to be filtered by the rule. So that needs to be, actually, Notion does this thing. I don't have to have this filtered. I mean, I have to have it filtered here. But here, for the tasks, I don't have to have this. I can remove this, save this, and then have them add the assignee. So this is perfect. This is what I want them to do. So I actually, I still need this reminder, but at least it won't be filtered to me. Okay, so I was right, role. I want them to be able to filter. So this is the view that's going to be on this template. Owner role. I don't want role. I just need type, frequency, area, last updated, required tools. Okay, that's perfect. So now I can finally create this template. Hold on. Freelancers. What do I currently have in the template? Oh, squat. Nada. Do I want to? Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this. Role. This would be role. Or maybe name this dashboard. No, leave it like this. And here I want to have this and this, but I don't want it filtered to virtual assistant. I just want it filtered to general. Is there a way to duplicate? No. Oh, oops. Okay. So role is general. Save that for everyone. Last updated. Okay. So that should be good as a template. But I also need to kind of have change assignee filter. Add. So this is for the tasks. This is for the SOP. Speed and docs. Add role filter. Based on the role. Okay. I have 7 more minutes until I need to go. This seems good to me as a template. Yeah, this seems good to me as a template. So now I'm going to drag this into my template. And done. Let's see, the V is this person that I had here, Nelson. Okay, so that's what I will be sharing with them. V dashboard. Okay, so if I am going to add a new freelancer, I would just have to click this button. It shows up here. This is it here. I know that I have to change those two. This will need to be filtered. Anyways, okay, that's not bad. Now the problem is that they're going to have, like, if you do end up hiring a lot of freelancers, you're going to have active, you're going to have some people that who would have, who you're no longer working with. You're going to have some different status categories, and I don't want this in a database. A simple page should be able to work. Active. Maybe I can do like a columns thing. Active. And let's see. Closed or that can probably be a toggle. Let's see, we had another one here that was active. So I actually want this here. This here. Okay. Right now, I'm trying to figure out if I should be doing this as a database. I hate to have databases inside of databases. It gets so nested. Maybe I could just have active and inactive and just do like columns down. Equal columns. Although I feel like inactive, you would prefer to have that as a toggle to hide them. Anyways, I don't think it's that serious. I think I'm overthinking that. So new freelancer dashboard, you would want to have this. Let's say create a new one. That's happening below there, but then you'll have to drag it. And I don't want anybody to have to drag anything. Why is this taking so long? Yeah, I don't want anybody to have to drag anything. So I want this to be, then I also want it in order. Yeah, I want this to be here, and I will add it below, and that should be fine. Yeah, not crazy about how this looks aesthetically, but why is that equal? I guess it is. Probably because it's heading 2s. Anyways, okay, I am pretty happy with this. Something here is bothering me. Like, this looks very jumbled together to me personally. But then, okay, that just feels unnecessary. I want some spacing in between, but this just feels unnecessary. Unnecessary. Okay. I just don't like how this looks. Yeah, it works functionally, but I don't like how this looks. And I'm gonna think about how to make this look better. But I think this was a success. I now, if I go back to my checklist in Tana, I can see I have the freelancer dashboards. Just checking, make sure I'm still recording. I have the freelancer dashboards. I'm happy with those. It's just, I don't like this. This is like the freelancer dashboards page for the your perspective. Yeah, this needs some work, but that was done. So when I get back, I'm going to I'll probably leave this alone for a bit. Actually no, I'll be back on this very page trying to because this this active freelancer database that I have here, do I want this here and have the dashboards go beneath? Maybe I do. That will change things. Because if I have the dashboard up here, then this will change as well. Okay, so I'm going to be working on this particular point here. And then I have some KPI dashboards to figure out in this one as well. So this is where I will be coming back to basically the CEO perspective of how are they going to be managing these freelancers in terms of the work that they have, to whether it's the work that they have to give them and to check in on what has been done. So just how work is being managed. But I'm going to wrap up for now. That was about 51 minutes of me essentially working on one part of the system. But I like this. This is helpful not only for me to kind of go back and see like how I'm building as I go, but hopefully it's also just helping me to share more of my process and how much fun I have while I'm building these systems. Okay, thank you for watching. If you've actually watched this entire thing, goodbye.